guys, it's Maymay and it's time for an upcycled craft. This is a collaboration with my friend Gareth from G's Creations, and today we are doing a Christmas upcycle where we have challenged each other to use cardboard. And this is a piece of cardboard that came in a card table that we purchased a long time ago, and it was huge. This piece was as big as a card table, and I have saved it to cut it down and use it for something, and finally I have what I want to do. So here's what I did first. I established the size. This is going to be a wall hanging, by the way, because you know I love them. So I've established the size that I want it to be. I've done this one 14 by 13 inches. The reason is I'm going to do a cardboard frame also. So these are about 1 1/4 inch, 1.5 inches, and they're going to become the frame edges. And I've cut, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 16 of these, okay, and these are going to be built up around the side to be frame edges, and then this is the shape of my Christmas tree that's going in the middle. But here's the best part. Look at all of this. This is a lot of jewelry, and some of it's junk, some of it's old, some of it's new, some of it is not really jewelry. But these are some things that I have gathered up because I know you've seen these on Pinterest, these Christmas trees made out of jewelry. Well, I didn't have enough jewelry to really cram on here and make a whole Christmas tree, and to be honest, I want some of the cardboard to show some of the rough part of the cardboard, so we're going to do it a little bit different. Alright, so put this guy aside. By the way, I just cut him down to size just to fit inside my frame. The first thing I want to do is work on this frame section. Now, I'm going to be covering this with paper, but I want to paint it first before I put the paper in there. So I'm going to adhere this together and make it into my frame, and then we'll paint it. Alright, so my plan is to take 4 of these pieces. Like I said, I cut these about 1.5 inches by 12 inches, and I'm going to glue them to the edges of this cardboard to make it sturdier. But the top one, alright, I'm going to put 3 of them down. Then the top one, I'm going to peel some of this back so it reveals some of that cool texture inside. We'll get to that in just a second. Alright, first things first, I'm going to glue a set of these down, and I'm going to use my hot glue gun to do it. So I'm just going to take one and squirt some hot glue on it. And just stick that down, and then I'm going to lift it up and put the rest on. I don't want the glue to dry while I'm working. And this is really just to get me some height. So these pieces here aren't going to, they're not really, it doesn't matter if I bend them or anything like that, because they're really just kind of dimensional pieces, these first 3 pieces. I just wanted the edges to be kind of thick. I thought this would look cool to do it this way. And I don't care if this is cut right, like I don't care if it's straight. I want it to be, I'm really trying to do this juxtaposition between grunge and jewelry. Does that make sense? Like grunge and classy, although that some of that jewelry, woo, it's rough, y'all. Some of it is some I've had for a long time. Some of it is just 99-cent jewelry. Some of it is stuff, well, to be nice, because this is not the grunge stuff. Some of it is actually from G's store. And so I'm going to show you how to use some of those pieces too. Alright, so there's 2 pieces glued down. This is the last one I'm going to glue down on top of that one until we distress this 4th piece. Stick that guy down. I love this kind of project. I really, really, really love to take absolutely nothing, which this piece of cardboard was literally nothing, and I want to turn it into something. Now, I've got 3 glued down, okay? I'm going to go ahead and start working the rest of the perimeter of the frame. The reason is, I think my cardboard's a little bit big, and that's okay. This way I'll cut it down after I get it all in place, but I'll know I have my frame on. So I'm just going to add some more glue here and get this guy going. Again, I don't care if they're even, if they're perfect. I want that grungy and classy mixed together. Now I am going to paint this. I don't know if I said that. I am going to paint it. You're not going to see the cardboard per se. You're going to know it's cardboard. I want you to know it's cardboard. But like this, I don't mind that the levels aren't the same height and stuff like that. This is one of those fun, messy ones. Okay, now I'm going to go to the next side and put them down here. And this time I'm going to line them up where that edge stops. See that? And then I'll go back and cut off the extra. Okay, so I've got 2 sides glued down, this side and this side. But here's something I want to do. Over here, I'm going to go ahead and put one down here and one here. And the reason is this. I want to have this piece be one full piece to this point, and then have this piece be a full piece to this point. So one of these I'm going to need to cut a little shorter. So I'm just going to snip that off where it's too long, which is right here. Okay. And I'm going to make the other 3 match it. So I'm just going to pick up 3 of these guys. I'm telling you, this is a sloppy fun craft. I ain't measuring nothing. I hate to measure. I don't hate it on paper crafts, but I love when I can just play and not have to measure anything. Just kind of play around. Alright, so now I'm going to glue 3 down on this side. And just line it up with that edge over there. And then 3 down. I'm going to save this one. And now I'm going to go over here and measure how long these need to be. Try to keep that where you guys can see it. So you see I'm working down here. And I'm just going to snip this off right there. Now I'm going to make 3 more like it. Same length. And then glue them down. Now over here you can see that I'm a little bit long on one side, so I'm going to trim that away. Just use my scissors to do that. You could do this with an X-Acto knife, but again, I'm not looking for perfect. And then I'm going to trim this piece off, and our frame will be almost ready to start painting. Now I told you I wanted to expose some of the cardboard underneath here, so I'm going to just grab this top layer and just kind of rip it away and see what we get. So in my mind, that worked easier. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take this craft pick and stick it up between the layers and do it like that. See how I'm getting some of that cardboard texture? And then I'm just going to rip this at an angle and see where it goes. So I'm going to leave that part exposed. And now I'm going to go to the middle and do some. Kind of here. Not really the middle, kind of 3/4 of the way in. Get some more off of here. See, I love that little bit of texture showing. And then here, I'm going to do this on all of them, just kind of in random places. Just kind of ripping this little top layer off. See how I did that? So we've got some random texture there. All right, I'm going to do that on every one that's going on top. Okay, so you can see how I distressed those. I think that looks super cool. And we'll bring the frame back up here, and we're going to put these on top as our 4th layer, because that's giving us that thickness. See that? So let's see which one fits this. That fits that. That fits that one. This one goes here, and this one goes here. Awesome. Okay, let's glue these down. Now I have this in the frame going this way, but I'm actually going to hang it on the wall long ways. It just doesn't fit in the camera frame very well. That kind of works. But I wanted you to be able to see what it looks like. So see all the little distressed? I love it. Now before I get this guy painted, here's what we're going to do. We're going to distress the Christmas tree the very same way, because I think it looks so cool. And what I'm doing, I want to show you. Oh, and the Christmas trees it goes up and down, so that's cool too. I'm sticking this little pick into the side of one of those kind of valleys. They're kind of hills and valleys. And I'm just kind of tearing this away, just wherever it goes. And sometimes it comes off easy, and sometimes I have to kind of fight with it. And I'm going to go up into the center and do the same thing and get some kind of damage in the middle of the tree as well. I just want to expose that cardboard texture. One reason, I think this is cool because a lot of times whenever I do an upcycle project, a lot of people don't believe it's what I say it is. Because once you cover everything up, it's kind of like, oh, that wasn't cardboard. Well, this way I can go, yes, it was, because you see the cardboard texture. So I think that's kind of cool. Like, it may not be your thing to have the texture show or have the cardboard show, and that's perfectly fine. You don't have to do that. I just think it looks kind of cool. And this is going to be covered up with a lot of the jewelry pieces, so a lot of this is not going to show. So I'm trying to get enough off that wheel, but I may not have a whole lot of the texture showing. Hopefully it'll peek out some. Okay, so now the fun part. It's time to paint it. And I'm going to paint it with this Waverly chalk paint. I actually bought this for the clothespin wreath craft, and I was really glad I had it because it's not exactly white. It's not exactly cream. It's somewhere in between there. And that's what I'm looking for, is something that's not exactly white because of the papers that I'm going to use, or the paper I'm going to use in the background. But what I want to do is I want to put a nice coat of this chalk paint on this entire piece, and this is what's going to make it not look like cardboard. I want to paint all the cracks and crevices, and I don't have to paint the center of this. I'm going to for stability, but I'm going to cover this with paper, but I think that having this on there will kind of hold it together some. I don't know, it's just kind of a thought in my head. It may not do anything, but I'm going to paint it. And I'm going to paint this so that I can keep the texture where I tore that paper. So I'm not going to soak my brush when I get there. I'm just going to kind of get the paint down in there and work it around. And if I need to get a smaller brush, I might have to get in some of those little crevices. But I do want paint everywhere, but I want the texture to remain. Like, I want solid coverage, but I want you to see that texture. See how that looks? That looks really cool. I love it. Now what I'm going to do, I've got a paint job, one coat. I think I'm just going to do one coat. I like how grungy it looks. I'm going to measure this inside, and it's not quite dry. I'm kind of getting ahead of the game. So this is about 8 5/8 by 10 1/2. So 8 5/8 by 10 1/2. I'm going to cut a piece of paper, and let me show you this. I have two different ones I'm choosing from. I have this one that's kind of glittery that I like, and then I have this one that just has like music and peace on earth and stuff like that. I really think I like the glittery one better, so I think we're going to use that one. So 8 5/8 by 10 1/2, I'm going to cut that real quick. So here is our piece, and it's pretty much dry on the inside. The outside is not. And then I cut this piece to fit inside. I want to see if it'll go right in, because if it will, I'm just going to glue it in. But I may have to do a little trimming. Looks like on that corner, I need to do a little bit of trimming. How's the length? Well, that's not the worst. I could probably squish that in there. I think I'm going to try. We're just going to play the squishing game. Alright, so I'm going to put a whole lot of glue on here. I'm going to use some art glitter glue on it. Now, I could have put this piece on first, but I didn't want to have to worry about getting paint on it. So I thought if I did it that way, I wouldn't have to stress too much about paint. Isn't that cool? I think it looks pretty neat. Now right here, you can pretty much see the center. You can't see the top and the bottom, but those are just the frame part. I want to work on the tree. I'm going to bring it back over, and we're going to glue it into place about like this. The reason is, I've got this guy that's going to go at the top, and now I'm realizing something. The tree is too white, and it goes away. I may have to paint this tree green, now that I've looked at it, or ink it. Do I want to paint it green or ink it? Okay, we got to think. So here's the tree, and I've put it onto my little scrap notebook that I use, and I have some green Stays On ink. I'm going to do this with green Stays On. We're going to see how this turns out. I'm going to do a little test run. Ooh, I'm glad I did, because that was heavy, and I don't think I want it that heavy. Let's see what happens. So basically we're going to do both things, ink and turn it green. The good thing is, if you do this and then you don't like it, you can just paint over it. Just paint it back where it was, or whatever it is you want to do to it. I like how the paint is kind of muting it down a little bit, taking it a different color. Now we can really see it. That's much better. Alright, so here's the reason I want to bring it down a little bit. This is going to be our topper. Look at this old piece I found at a thrift store recently. That's going to be the topper, so I want to make sure I have plenty of room for that. Up there, and then our bottom piece is going to be, this was an earring that looks like a bow with little like ribbons hanging down. It's going to go at the bottom of the tree, And I think it will kind of give us the feel of a trunk kind of hanging down like that. So that's our base and our top. I already know those two. I'm going to go ahead and glue this guy into place. Just like that. So there our tree is in place. Alright, now let's lay these guys out. I know I want this up at the top. I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. There's no sense in guessing about that one. I know where I want it. And I'm using a lot of glue. When I turn it over, that glue will kind of fall down and grab it. And I'm using hot glue for this, so some of these may get a little hot, so we need to be careful. I see a little spot where I can glue it. Stick some glue in there, just to make sure it stays. See if I can do the same here. Put it back in place. Okay, so there's that one. And when that dries, it'll stick. And now let's go ahead and put the bottom down because I know where I want it to go. So put some glue here along the bottom. Now you could do this with E6000 too if you wanted to use something maybe a little more permanent. Then you just have a longer drying time. I think this is going to be fine. This will be for indoor use, so it should be fine. Now I just need to lay these guys out where I want them. Now look, here's the thing. This is a cat and dog in a picture frame. It has nothing to do with Christmas. This is a cat reaching into a fishbowl. Has nothing to do with Christmas. But the gold and the glitter is what does it. Then, this is a silver bottle cap. Doesn't have anything to do with Christmas. I actually had these laid out a little bit earlier. I'm going to try to put them like I had them because I really liked the way it was looking. And if I can't get it there, it's alright. This piece was here, kind of lifting over that bottle cap. Like so. And then, some of these things really I love. This is a piece of an earring that I recently lost. Like last weekend I lost the other earring, so I thought I'm going to use it because I love it. This little bow was, this is the other part of that earring set. I'll put it right here. And you're probably thinking, why aren't you wearing those earrings? Because they are super cute. You know why? Because they break my ears out. So I have that dreaded metallic issue. Hey, these they're not roses. I think these are magnolias maybe. These are from Gareth's store. I thought these would be cool to add in. And these are also from Gareth's store. These little small, these are his enamel flowers. And I have 2 of those, I think. Yep. I'll add that to it. Some of these things I'm going to put on top of some, and some I'm going to put underneath like that. Then I have this handle. I love it. I want to make sure that gets on there. That's from Gareth's store, one of those brackets. This is a little horse. It's just from the thrift store. And I thought it was cute, and I want to put it somewhere. Somewhere like that. This is a piece of an earring where I lost the mate to it. So I'm going to put that one right there. This is one of those, it's a pendant that looks like a lock. And I loved it. And I wanted to make sure it got on here because I really love it. Let's see if I can move you over to this side and put this here. Oh, I like that at the top. Let's kind of move those like that. Then this, I don't really know what this is, but it seems very vintage, so I wanted to use it. It's just kind of a piece. It doesn't represent anything or look like anything in particular. We'll put it down here in this bottom corner. And I thought about using this mustache. I keep pulling this mustache out, but it just doesn't work. It doesn't go with this. Now, Gareth has these little gold leaves in his store. And I think these will be super cool on here as filler pieces. So like once I glue all these down, I'm going to go back with these little gold leaves and just stick them here and there because I think they will be really good filler pieces. I had considered running chain here and there to be like a garland, and I may still do that, but we'll see. We'll see in a few minutes if we're going to still do that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start gluing these pieces down. Be very careful with these metal pieces. They get hot. Just checking everything, make sure I have it glued down. And we do. Alright, let's look at these guys. I may use tweezers because these are so small. So I got my tweezers and I just put one of these little leaves on it. I'm just going to run some hot glue at the base of it. And just kind of stick it maybe underneath this one. Ooh, kind of get it in place. Underneath. I like the leaves. I think they're going to add something. Alright, and let's put a little more glue here. Now I'm just going to fill this in like we were doing like a, like if we were doing a flower arrangement. Just kind of stick these where it looks like it needs something. Now there's one thing I know about this craft. Some of you are going to love it and some of you are going to hate it, because this is not the kind of thing that's for everybody. And that's perfectly fine. This found object, or this, I don't know, what is this called? It's not really grunge, but this feel, this vintage kind of eclectic look is not for everybody, and I totally get that. So some of you are going to be like, nope, you lost me on that one, and that's okay. And then hopefully some of you are going to be like, that's right up my alley, and that's good too. In an effort to help the tree stand out a little more, I'm going to run some of this chain around the tree. So I'm going to put some glue down, just like so. Oops, got hung in there. Then I'm just going to take the edge of this glue and this chain, and drop it into the glue and run it all the way down. And this chain is from Gary's store too. I don't have a lot of metal stuff that's not from his store. I pretty much get my metal stuff there since he opened the store, because I don't do a lot of metal crafting, or at least I didn't, and this has been super fun. I'm going to move this up out of my way, this little dangly part, just lay that up there and put some glue down here to wrap more of that chain around the base. I think that's really going to help the tree stand out more too. It's fairly easy to put on there too, because you just have to kind of touch it into that glue, because it grabs pretty easy. Then our little base will hang back down. Alright, and we're going to go back up the side. I'm going to go ahead and cut off the length that I need. So I'm really liking how the tree is looking on the inside. And it's really getting heavy now too. I'm going to turn it so you can see it. Look at all of that. I love how that looks. Now, I feel like with the glitter from the paper, the glitz from here, that this needs some shimmer or some glitz or something. So I'm going to show you my plan. So my plan is, I have this nail polish that I bought on sale, and it doesn't look good on me, so I've turned it into a craft product. And it is, I don't know if you can tell, it is like a milky gold shimmer. And I'm going to go around and paint this around in different places on this edge of this frame to bring some of the shimmer to the outside. I do this a lot with nail polishes. If I buy them and they don't look good on me, then they become craft paint. So step out there, and if you don't like what you end up with, just know you can use it in your crafting. I'll tell you this too, we do derby cars every year with the RAs at our church, and I typically always paint their cars with nail polish. I think the nail polish looks beautiful. It has like a natural seal to it. I still seal their cars a lot of times, but I will use nail polish on just about anything, y'all. See, I'm just kind of taking that brush and just kind of slinging it just to the side and just kind of brushing over the top of that texture spot we created. It works, and it gets some shimmer there. I do this in a well-ventilated room. It's no different than painting your fingernails, but make sure you have plenty of spots to be able to breathe. Can you see the shimmer? It's really pretty. It's really transforming that cardboard. Now, just when you thought I was done, I also have some silver glitter that is also nail polish. And this is I just buy that dollar stuff when it's like this, because I like having the brush in there. And this one's really old. It's kind of not mixing up very well, but I'm going to add some silver too. So as you can see around the edges, I took 2 different nail polishes and I glitter painted just kind of rough around the frame. And then I did one little stripe around the tree, which you really can't see. I really didn't have to do that one. But I do this sometimes because I don't like loose glitter, and this is a perfect way to get the look of glitter without it being loose and just paint it on. But please do it in a well-ventilated area, because it can be very, very strong. So you want to make sure that you're not doing this, in a tiny little craft room, which some of us do. Okay, guys, this is it. I love how this turned out. It's very, I don't know, not rustic and not obviously not classy because it's cardboard, but I love it. I think it turned out pretty neat. I know, again, this is going to be a love-hate project. Let me know what you guys think. So there you go, guys. This is my upcycle with Gareth. I can't wait to see what he's created. I think you're going to like whatever it is. I'm sure he does some great upcycle projects. And remember, our product we had to use was cardboard. So this is the way I used cardboard today. And I can't wait to see what he does. Thanks so much, guys, for watching. There'll be a link to Gareth's video below. Have a great one. I'll see you next week. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.